Hello, a warm welcome to you. This platform on the network service of the NTA. I'm Ruth Aguele. Now, what could make someone set out on a journey and not get to his or her destination as a result of an accident? Well, it could be car failure, overspeeding, loss of control. It could be anything. Although sometimes it is inevitable, but it can be prevented. Road crashes don't just occur. There are various factors responsible for that. According to data released by the Federal Road Safety Corps, about 106,256 people were involved in road traffic crashes between January 2019 and December 2021. Now, let's not go into the breakdown of how many died and how many were injured. But tasked with the responsibility of ensuring zero tolerance to road traffic crashes in Nigeria, the Federal Road Safety Corps is charged with the responsibility of making highways safe for motorists and other road users, clearing obstructions on any part of the highways, checking roadworthiness of vehicles, educating motorists and other members of the public on the proper use of the highways. So you ask, how has the journey been for the FRSC in instilling discipline on road users rather, and ensure motorists comply with the rules and regulations of plying the highways? Now, our focus on platform today is on road safety administration and management. And our guest is no other person but the Court Marshal of the FRSC, Dr. Babuyo Oyayami, MFR, MNI. Thank you very much for joining us on platform.
Thank you very much. Compliments of the season.
I wish you the same.
Yeah.
All right. Before we introduce our panelists, let me take you through a bit of his profile. Dr. Babuyo Oyayami is a seasoned administrator. He hails from Kwara State. He holds a doctorate degree in public administration from the University of Nsukka. He is an alumnus of the prestigious National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies and Royal Institute for Public Administration, London. He also holds a certificate in strategic management of regulatory and enforcement agencies from Harvard University, School of Government, Boston, United States of America, among others. His contribution to national development earned him several awards and recognitions, which are member of the Order of the Federal Republic, MFR, in 2006, National Productivity Order of Merit Award 2015, and Leadership Public Service Officer of the Year Award in 2015 also. Internationally, he was named Biographical Man of the Year 2012 by the American Biographical Institute. He has various publications on road safety administration and numerous unpublished works to his credit. That's just the bit you should know about my guest for now. But when you talk about road safety management, he's the man of the job. We have a panelist, Ibironke Ariyo. She's from the News Agency of Nigeria, correspondent that also covers the FRSC. Thank you very much for joining us, Ibironke.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So once again, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Court Marshal. Let me start by commending the FRSC for achieving a rare feat. I'm talking about the recertification by the International Organization for Standardization for effective road management, road and traffic management. How does that make you feel? And what does this say about the FRSC in doing its, well, rather performing its mandate as expected?
Well, thank you for that. The ISO award, is the recertification. This is the third in the series. Okay. And we were recertified by the International Standards Organization through the Standard Organization of Nigeria. It shows the processes and procedures, that's the quality management system, QMS, is properly being adhered to. That's number one. Then number two, when it comes to road safety, like you said, when it comes to road safety management and administration, the processes and the procedures is being strictly adhered to. So when we are talking about a lead agency, when we are talking about the issue of enhancing the processes, that means you must keep tab on it, and you have fulfilled all the conditions laid out. And don't forget, we are just the fourth agency globally the uniform agencies that merited such an award. It's not an easy task, but it is the sustainability of these processes that led to the recertification. And it wasn't done by one person, it is a collective responsibility. If we have not gotten the support of government and the public, we may not have gotten recertified, because when you're looking at the processes, it involves the people too, not only the staff, the public too, if they don't fulfill their own obligation and if the government has not been given the support. So a collective responsibility led to the recertification, and we thank everybody involved in this process. And for SON, believing in what we are doing and guiding us towards the recertification. That is Standard Organization of Nigeria.
You know, I like the word you use, sustainability is very key. And if you must ensure that this feat is sustained, you must be able to confront challenges. So how is the FRSC dealing with the challenges you're being confronted with daily, especially in a country like Nigeria? Well,
like we say, it's part of the recertification, ensuring that you now use technology to drive the system. The Federal Road Safety Corps operates on 24 applications. We use technology to run the system. And with this, there's continuous growth development, looking at the global trends, the technology available, and above all, human capacity development. If you are doing recertification and your personnel are not properly trained, you can't get the result.
Sure.
One thing we learned during the intervention of World Bank for the Federal Road Safety Corps is that World Bank supports you, but the first thing World Bank does is to ensure that there's human capacity development. Before they give you equipment or anything, they first ensure the personnel are trained. So we took it up from there, and when you are looking at the Safe Corridor projects, we took that from the World Bank program, or let me say project, under the Safe Corridor project. So along these lines, you must train people in different ways. Those who are on the patrol, those who are in charge of driver's license, number plates administration, general administration, you must train them, and you must continue to improve the skills by looking at the current trends. If you are static, you can't get recertification, and if you are static, when it comes to growth, you cannot grow. So you must look at the global trends and see how you can adapt that into your own, localize them. It's not that you copy it, hook, line, and sinker and just drop it. No, you must look at how you can use it to further improve on your own system. Then interface with also with other international professional bodies has really assisted us to get the bearing right. And don't forget, we are the lead agency in terms of road safety management in Africa by the World Bank. So we have gotten to a certain level that we are recognized, and we have to continue to invest in human capacity development to get the desired results.
Which is very important, because I was going to ask you about that. If your team is not proactive, you can be productive.
I know.
Okay, I know Ibironke wants to come in now, but just bear in mind, we're going to break down some of those technology you have adapted, you know, when we're talking number plate, driver's license, and all of that. Ibironke.
All right, sir, I want to talk about driver's license. I remember last year, January 2021, you announced that the Federal Road Safety is planning to introduce digital driver's license. So I want to ask, how far has the call gone as regard that?
So far, so good. I think I've just last week I approved the draft amendment. The design is ready, everything is ready, but there are processes to follow. If I introduce the digital license not backed by proper regulation, it can be challenged. So last week with my team, I endorsed the final draft that will be sent to the chairman of the commission for oversight before it goes to justice for gazette. Once we have the legal instrument, then we roll out. Everything has been done. What just remains now is to follow the legal process. And the beauty of the digital license is that you don't need to carry your hard copy again. That means the law recognizes the electronic copy. So
it will be on your phone.
On your phone.
Okay.
But it's not free. It's for a fee. So the question is, it's not going to be compulsory. Okay. But they you know, you fill the forms online. They will ask you on the form, do you want a digital license? It's an add-on. It's a phased approach. It will get to a level that you can have only the digital license. But to start with, you'll have the hard copy, the one that is printed. Then if you now want a digital one, then you pay the fee. So A plus B, so you get both the hard copy.
And
the digital one, once you complete the process, that one comes on your phone automatically. While if you look at the process now, at least I like your positive comments about all this, it's just 1 week to get your license. So that means within 1 week, both the digital and the other one, the hard copy is obtained. So you can keep that one at home. For enforcement, once that regulation is out, it recognizes the hard copy. If you look at the airlines now, you don't go with, in developed countries, you don't go with boarding passes. Just on your phone you show a scan and you move on. It's to reduce a lot of paperwork. So if you now have your digital license on your phone, once it's shown, the most important thing is the number, which can be verified. Even the regulation will now make the banks too and other financial institutions or generally to recognize it. But if it's not backed by law, then
it can be recognized.
No. So I think all this process I'm talking about before March ending, by the grace of God, with the legal instrument should be out, and that's all. Because it's a gazette. Once the gazette is done, the process is completed. Yes. So we are ready for that. But we are followed, like I said, in 2020, then, which we are right, you must follow a lot of processes because the digital license must be a replica of the hard copy. So that is the story. You
have a follow-up question to that?
Aside driver's license, I want to talk about body cameras.
Well, that's a new innovation introduced, which was inaugurated on the 27th of October last year. Yes. And in 2019, at the Joint Intelligence Board meeting, I must commend the National Security Advisor, who advised, or let me say recommended to the Federal Safety Corps that to reduce the spate of assault cases. As at that time, when I presented my report at the board meeting, Intelligence Board, the number of assault cases involving our personnel was very high. And the National Security Advisor said, Babuyo, I think to cut down on these serious problems is to introduce body cam. And immediately I put it in the procurement process for 2020. And today is a success story. So, and before the end of the year, I think we'll have covered the landscape of the country. For the end of the year patrol, we deployed this body cam to 20 states. Before it was inaugurated, we started the pilot scheme in Abuja from September and October. And for that 2 months, we did not record any assault case. And you see, the rule is this: when you now meet a road user, you let him know that, please, I'm wearing body camera. So the person has a level of consciousness that is being recorded.
They are supposed to say that.
It's compulsory. Even in developed countries, you must let the person know that you are wearing a camera that is being recorded. So it makes you to be more committed, to be more serious, composed, and be careful. So when I ask for your vehicle papers, you comply. Because the law recognizes electronic evidence now. Yes. So you don't need PW1, PW2, and 3. Electronic evidence is more stronger than verbal evidences. Or let me say, I'm not a lawyer, oral evidences. So as an offender is being accosted, it's being recorded by the officer, and at the control room, it's being recorded. So because of that, it gives a positive posture for the offender. And so when they now ask for vehicle papers, the man willingly gives the vehicle papers before the man does not release the vehicle papers, which is another offense, obstructing marshals on duty. So when we deploy for the first time for the end of the year patrol, 2021 to 2022, we did not record any assault case or cases. Because the guys were wearing body cam. So it makes people to be more careful because they know the implication. Even if you attempt to snatch that one at the central control room.
They're seeing it.
No, it's been recorded.
Okay.
And that led to the full usage of the rapid response squad units. It's the same practice. See, when I was talking about use of technology, the global trends, in developed countries, they have body cam. They are monitoring their personnel. When they know that the voice is rising and it's taking longer time in dealing with the offender, 2 or 3 backup teams comes to the scene That is the work of the control room. When that is using their own discretionary powers, they see that the officer is spending a longer time. You just see the backup. That is something we have done too. We have established the rapid response units, and with the procurement this year is going to be very large fleet. We must thank Mr. President for approving the intervention fund and the release. So with that, we fully implement the rapid response. So with the body camera now, it brings a level of efficiency, and it has also reduced the corrupt practices. Before, some people were alleged that the boys are demanding, but at the control center, they are having all the conversation now. So you cannot allege the guy is asking for money. So the implication now is that it enables both sides to behave well.
Yes.
It enables my own boys to behave well. Yeah. So 1 + 1 is 2.
So how do you ensure the monitoring of that? Are the cameras always on?
Yeah. You see, it's compulsory. You're on 8-hour patrol. You have a spare battery. So if you're on patrol and the battery goes down, you change the battery. The spanning of the battery is between 6 to 8 hours. And once you come back, you have the battery units, you plug it, and it's charged for a period of 12 hours. So when you are going on patrol, you pick the 2 batteries, one as spare. And hardly do they use the spare, because for now, it takes about 8 hours, and you go for patrol on 8 hours, but you have a backup. So if the battery peradventure goes down, you back it up. And you cannot switch off the camera once you set out on patrol. You have been monitored. If you switch it off, it's a serious offense. It's like carrying firearms, and you cannot be traced. It becomes a problem. So those are the things. That is why from the statement, the continuous improvement using the technology to drive any system will give you effective performance or enhanced performance. So when it comes to road safety management, introducing current technology to drive the system will cause the members of the public to behave well, will cause the members of the world to be supportive, because when they know they are being recorded, it gives full level of compliance. Because sometimes I go to the control room and I'm monitoring. When the guy says, please, I'm wearing body camera, can I have your papers? The person will just open the glove compartment and bring out his papers and comply. So it also enables the etiquette, the presentation, the boys to also comport and present the case where I'm booking you for traffic light violation, I'm booking for use of phone while driving, I'm booking you for facing oncoming traffic. The person must know his offense. You give him the citation, you give it. Either you also do it electronically, and the person goes.
You know, that's where I want us to delve in the rules of engagement between the officer and the motorist. Now, you said the body cameras has helped in level of compliance from the motorist. Now, let's look at the conduct of your officers.
I said it. It makes my boys to behave well. Because
I'm getting somewhere, Commercial. Would you say you have not been receiving complaints from the public on misconduct whatsoever?
Before the introduction of body cam.
But not all of them were the cameras.
It is compulsory. There are 2 cameras per patrol team now.
Okay.
So if I wear a camera and Ibironke is part of my team, you are the offender. My camera is facing you. So there's a conversation. She's recording the 2 of us. So it's not a one-way traffic.
So would you say since the introduction of the body cameras, there's been no complaint from motorists or people don't know how to complain?
Because the evidences are there. Nobody is complaining because the evidences are there. And that's why I said, by the grace of God, I'm determined by June this year to ensure that we cover the landscape, the whole country. Once we cover the whole country, we expand the control room again. So that means I will have each module for the 36 states and FCT. And the boys are being trained. As we are expanding, there's training. Because it's not just giving, like I told you, you must train people before you give them the new tools to use, even though they don't know how to use it. My ADC was telling me something about Hyundai, that there are some vehicles now, they don't have lever again to put automatic, to put it into park, put it in drive, that is just button. So if a driver is used to manual, is given such a car, the man will carry the key, and the key cannot open the door. You need to press the button. So the world of mechatronics, the first thing you must do is training. So if you don't train people, they cannot be productive. If you are not careful, they will damage the equipment.
I'm glad you're emphasizing on this. So when next I come across an officer who does not introduce himself and make me know, or rather let me know that he's wearing a body cam, I'm going to record that myself.
And one thing we are going to do before the end of February, I've seen the practices. I travel a lot. One thing that excited me when I was in UK 3 weeks ago, I moved closer to one of the police officers on foot patrol, and I saw a tag. This officer is wearing body camera. So I don't need to be telling you.
That's part of the advancement.
You see, that is what I'm talking about, experience sharing.
Yes.
I moved closer and I saw a tag on his uniform like this, that this officer is wearing a body camera. And the beauty, the own camera is on the shoulder. Yes. So the next ones we are going to get, I also make sure the camera is placed by the shoulder. So, but the tag is there. The one we are using now is by the center,
yes,
so that it covers the whole. That is technology. But one thing that excited me is that I'm using the same facility like the British police. It excites me because that means I've introduced the current technology. It can only be better.
Which is commendable.
It's commendable, but you must, like I said, those who guided us must also be acknowledged, like the NSA. Those are the kind of things I'm saying. So you use technology to drive the system. If you have not used technology, you will not get recertification. Get it right. You will not get recertification. And if you don't use technology, you cannot improve on the system. You must continue. That's why we have the planning advisory unit. You have the other teams. So they continue to interface. They see what is the practice in other countries. So when you look at the best practices, you key into it and see how you can use it to improve on your system. You will get it right.
Okay.
That is what is required.
That's all.
Okay, so let's look at the use of phones while driving. It's an offense, but we see that happening consistently. People thought with the introduction of airports, earphones, or you put your phone on hands-free, it's okay, so to say, to make calls. Tell us, why are we still having that despite the penalties involved and knowing that it's illegal?
Let's add the Google Maps too. Let me address the two.
Even the Google Maps? What about somebody who is new? Okay, now this is...
Let's combine everything.
Okay.
They all go together.
Okay.
The law says use of phone while driving is prohibited. The law does not say, unless they go back to the National Assembly to go and amend the law. Use of phone is prohibited with a fine. So whether you use AirPod, or what do you call it? Yes. AirPod.
Yes.
Whether you use speaker, okay, whether you hold it, whether you are using it with your left hand, you are driving with your right hand, or you are driving, you are holding the left hand, you are holding with the right hand, the law is very clear. I've stated this several times. The law is very clear. The law is very definitive. Because why? When you are driving and you are receiving call, it's distractive. We have won all the cases in court. We have won all. The law is very clear. When you say you are using AirPod, you are speaking and you are driving. You can't do two things together. Okay.
But we've seen that happen. It's like a normal thing.
We've been arresting people, and you see, even in developed countries, people are still being arrested for using phone while driving. But I think the major problem we have with our laws is that the penalties are too ridiculous, very low.
Yes.
And I've proposed before that the minimum fine should be 50,000. Why? Fines are supposed to serve as deterrence. If your salary is 47,000
and you pay
50,000, you agree with me, you won't try it again.
At all.
If I arrest Ibirun Kenna and she pays 100,000 for dangerous driving, she will not try it again. Her salary is gone. When she gets home, I don't know what she will tell the children or the husband, that road safety arrested me, so I've used my salary to pay. It becomes a problem. So our fines are not so potent to serve as deterrent. And that is what I'm advocating, that our fines, the minimum fines to be paid should be 50,000. And when it comes to traffic laws and regulations, you don't need to be arrested if you comply with the traffic rules. Have you been arrested before?
Nope.
You have not been arrested.
Yes.
Why didn't you allow them to arrest you?
Why will I allow them
Thank
to arrest
you.
me?
Because you know what it entails.
Yes.
When you are arrested, you are booked, then you go for emotional psychological evaluation. You go to the hospital, they will test your...
Are we doing all of that?
It's still going on.
Okay.
Those who faces it, they know what it takes. They won't try it again. If the National Assembly can amend that section of the fines to make sure that...
Because I was going to ask you that, what are you doing in reviewing the act?
So if the National Assembly can cause an amendment to the FRSC Establishment Act 2007 by making sure that the minimum fine imposed is 50,000, it will make people to behave well. All those making noise that the fine is too high, common people will suffer. Nobody says you go and commit offense. It is when you, like you said, you have never been arrested. So for you not to be arrested, you are complying with traffic rules and regulations. It will make everybody to sit up.
But there's a clause to that. I know you've won all your cases. In the case of, I'm not making a case for motorists. What is wrong is wrong. In the case of emergency, what
The
do you
rule
do?
is this: if there's emergency, you park.
Oh, okay.
Abba.
But how much
Look, if there's
sensitization?
emergency, your phone is ringing, for goodness sake, it's distractive. That's distractive tendency. If your phone rings while driving, just park to pick the call.
So how much sensitization is the FRSC doing to the public? A lot of people are still ignorant.
I
Let's be
don't
realistic.
agree. A lot of people are just defiant. It's an act of defiancy. People are defiant, they're just stubborn. There's nobody that you have arrested that does not know using phone while driving is distractive and is a serious offense.
I'm talking about even the hands-free method.
The law,
They should know it is
the
wrong.
law says use of phone while driving is prohibited. Park. If you want to, you see, our handbills and the jingles says that call can wait. Life has no replacement.
True.
If you crash now, you break your hand, you are grounded.
True.
You break your leg, you are grounded.
True.
Or you hit your head against the metal frame, then there's blood clot on your head, you become a vegetarian. You just be looking, there's a problem. So that call can wait, please. I want to continue to appeal to the public. Let me repeat, that call can wait. And if it's emergency, park, receive the call, end the call, and continue your journey. That is how it should be. All those complaining, they're just displaying ignorance. They know the right thing to be done. They know, but we will sustain advocacy, education, and enlightenment. And we're going to start weekly program now on NTA so that we continue to sensitize. What led to the National Traffic Radio is because of advocacy, education, and enlightenment, to be able to sensitize the public, to raise the level of awareness in 5 languages of Hausa, Yoruba, Pidgin English, and English. That's why we sensitize the public. So, and you see, the reception, the comments we have gotten is highly encouraging. And we are still proposing also a fund permits to have a TV channel dedicated for enlightenment so that the pictorial aspect can be further used, educational service. So those are the things. But on the radio, we have achieved so much. We give hourly rules. The country is 203 million population in size. We have a road network of 204,000 kilometers and vehicular density of 12.5 million. With a land mass of 924,000, this country is big. And we strive with jingles all over the country. But the problem with big urbanism is that all these people complaining, they don't listen to radio. They don't watch TV. They listen to that's what we call Netflix. Netflix. Because I've been asking, what is Netflix? I'm not into that kind of social life. So they said that is where you watch movies and all. That is where most of the younger ones, that is on phone now, you download all the movies to watch. Nobody is tuning to radios. Only the commercial drivers will tune to radios. So those are my customers. Those are the ones that's carrying a lot of people. I deal with them and they're happy with me. We are friends. And the battle this year, 2022, has to do with the speed limiting device enforcement.
I was just going to delve into that.
But
So,
sir, I'm going back to the use of phone. For instance, I'm going to a particular place and I don't know the direction, and I want to use my Google map, and I'm looking at a road safety officer ahead of me, and I'm holding my phone. How do I go about it?
It's an offense. It's supposed to hang When you park, you set your direction, you hang it, and be listening to the direction. You're not supposed to use one hand to hold it and be using another. That is distractive driving, and we arrest you if I catch you.
Noted.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about the speed limit devices. The last information we got, commercial drivers are the ones who are fully involved.
Phase one.
Okay, phase one. What is phase two?
Private vehicles.
Okay.
But we have not accomplished the mission for phase one. There's no point for me battling the big people than the private people. Because you see...
Why?
No, let's face phase one first.
Okay.
Most of the crashes today, 52% of our crashes are speed related. Loss of control is 16%. So if you add 52 plus 16, that is 68 out of 100%. When people are talking about the road, bad road is just 3%. Speed.
Because when there's a bad road, you can reduce your
Thank
speed
you.
and still drive.
You use your common sense, and if you just enter the potholes anyhow, you carry your vehicle. Either your ball joint pull out, or your shaft is broken, or the propeller is caught. But when you get there, your acceleration will be to zero, first of all. When your acceleration is to zero, then the next thing you do is you look for the current place. But let me commend the government, Mr. President, and the Honorable Minister for Works. Within the last 4 or 5 months since the dry season began, there have been a lot of improvement. I can, as the head of road safety, say this, that I am a mobile person, I move around, and say that a lot of road rehabilitation is going on, has been going on, and is still going on. And I think there's a race before the rainy season to make sure that majority of these are almost completed. Like Lagos-Ibadan is nearing completion. That is my headache now. I must commend those two contractors, Julius Berger and RCC. The quality of work is excellent. It has almost turned Lagos-Ibadan to a runway. When you leave Ibadan, after the Ogumakin, there is a stretch that is a straight stretch, about 6 kilometers, that looks like a runway. The way people speed. That is why we're talking about speed issues now. And most of these crashes are lone crashes. For the end of the year patrol, most of the crashes we recorded were lone crashes involving commercial drivers and some level of private drivers. So those are why the maximum speed for all these minibuses is 90. So if you're at 90, what is speed limiting device? Speed limiting device is to regulate the speed of the vehicle. People will say the driver, no. It's the vehicle you want to regulate the speed. When you regulate the speed of the vehicle, no matter how the driver accelerates, it cannot exceed that.
Are they complying?
The level of compliance as per the articulated vehicles, excellent. As per organized transport sector, excellent. Organized transport sector, those are the AutoStar, ABC, Ekenedilichu, give it to them. Those organized transport. Then the major problem we're having has to do with the minibuses, and we're talking to the union. You see, this is a presidential directive. You cannot flat president. This is one of the fundamental things Mr. President did in 2016 when he came on board. He approved the implementation and the enforcement. Even when he approved, he directed that we did not put the cost of enforcement to this and we should forward it, which was incorporated in our annual budget. So what I'm saying is that we need to cut down the speed. Lives are being lost. All these figures you were talking about the other time, these are human beings.
Yes.
If a vehicle is damaged, you agree a vehicle can be replaced. Yes. But life has no duplicate.
True.
If your hand is cut, you can put artificial. Your leg is cut, amputated, you can put that but life has no replacement. So these figures we're talking about, these are lives being lost due to the negligence or crass negligence of the commercial drivers. So we just have to, you see, we don't need to listen to them. This year, the directive is one, the fundamental is the enforcement of the implementation of speed limiting device. Is a presidential directive, and there's no going back. The drivers must comply. All this life they wasted must be saved. Enough is enough.
Veronica, you have a follow-up to that?
Actually, I want him to talk about one-way driving, sir. It's I'm very sure it's common in FCT because I've seen people do that, and I don't know what the call is doing to address that.
It's a monster. It's not that we are not doing anything. Even with the road traffic officers, with the police, we join hands. It's a monster. And I think, like I said, when you look at the fines for driving against traffic, it's not serving as deterrence. If we maybe this year we get the support of National Assembly, like I propose, the minimum fines is 50,000. If the take home of a commercial driver is about 3,000-4,000 daily, and he pays 50,000 for facing oncoming traffic, taking one way, he will not try it again. The penalties that is not potent enough to serve as deterrence, like I've mentioned. But what we do, we sustain the enforcement. With the procurement of more logistics now, vehicles, bikes coming up, which between now and let me say April, we are going to inject new fleet. Abuja is going to be given a priority. I think we continue to improve on the enforcement level. We continue. That's the only thing we can do. The ones arrested, we make them scapegoats to serve as deterrent. That is it.
All right, so.
The year is just starting, and I know that the FRSC has lined up activities as part of your strategy. If we must ensure zero road crashes, zero tolerance to road crashes for the year 2022. It's very unfortunate when you see a fatal accident and you hear the number of lives being lost and all of that. It may be anybody at any point. What are part of your strategies for this year?
Okay, first, part of the strategy is to reduce crashes by 15%. It's an ambitious target that we want to have a zero crash. It's only Sweden that has almost achieved that. No nation has been able to achieve. It's only Sweden. And in Nigeria, we must thank God and commend the government for the government-full involvement in road safety management and continuous improvement in funding. Now, we tend to achieve 15% reduction in crashes. We intend achieving a reduction of 25% in fatalities. And I must be frank, when you look at all these data, their lives, but it's not so alarming. Considering the population, put it on the severity weight index. Those who are dying in Nigeria, we're having an average of 6,000 to a population of 203 million. It's not frightening like that, but why the noise is because we value life, and I agree. I'm one of the proponents too. When a life is lost, I'm close to tears. You can't replace that life. It's gone for life.
Yes.
So part of it, like I said, we reduce crashes. These are the fundamentals, using the speed limit. That's part of our corporate strategy goals, using the speed limiting device to reduce the speed. When you cut down the speed, you have automatically cut down the crashes.
Yes.
When you cut down the crashes, the fatality is reduced also. Because even if the man is going at the prescribed speed limits and suddenly applied brakes, that's what you call stopping distance, which is the thinking distance and the braking distance. So the acceleration to zero will not be as weak as when you are going to 140, that the vehicle will scream, and sometimes loss of control. And so those are the things we are looking. Then also the stakeholders' collaboration. One of the things that made the court to achieve or to record the successes has to do with the stakeholders' collaboration. The stakeholders, the state governments, the multinationals, and also the departments, the ministries, departments, agencies at the federal level. The stakeholders' collaboration has been wonderful, has been duly appreciated. That is one of the contributing factors. That's part of the strategic goals, to get the stakeholders. And this year, we want to really integrate the state traffic management agencies into the IT net of the core. So what I mean by that, presently we have our own policy is that we encourage the states to set up the state traffic management agencies. Those are the LASMA, TRACE, the one in Kaduna, in Kano.
What's the synergy with all this?
Synergy. So that a uniform system of operating. We have the same booking sheets, and they link their IT network to the national database of offenses register. So with that, we have commenced the implementation of the penalty point system. If you accumulate between 10 to 14 points, you get a warning.
Okay.
That's the best practice. Then if you accumulate between 15 and 20 points, your license is suspended for 3 months. You go back to the driving school. We have about 1,116 certified driving schools today. And I will talk about that one again. Then if you have 21 points, your license is suspended for 1 year. Then you go back to driving school. So I want to do integration of all the state traffic management agencies this year. It's one of our corporate strategic goals this year. Excuse me. Once you can do that. So that one will bring, and say all this has geared towards reducing crashes. When somebody knows that his license can easily be seized, what do? I block it on the database so you can't renew. And once you can't renew, it becomes a problem for you. Excuse me. It becomes a problem. That is it. So, you see, you need to put in appropriate countermeasures. Not only fines that can serve as deterrence to road users that will make them to behave. So, you know, if I seize your license now, you rely on Uber or your husband to carry you. One, your vehicle, you can't use it. Because the day they arrest you, can't produce your license. You know, it's a serious offense too.
Sure.
So once you know all these fundamentals is fully activated, people will have that level of consciousness for an enhanced road safe culture.
All right. Last joint tax meeting approved.
Tax board.
Okay, tax board meeting approved the implementation of the annual vehicle registration scheme. Now, what is the implication for the public?
The public have nothing to fear. It does not attract any fee or any charges at all. The annual vehicle registration system is to make the records of all vehicles to be active every year. Presently, if you have a new vehicle, you register your vehicle, and you get what you call POC. That's the final POC, proof of ownership certificate. You have a car.
Yes.
You must have gotten POC when you register it. But the POC does not have validity. What we are now doing now is that before you can get that POC, you have done insurance. They verify your insurance, they verify the roadworthiness, they verify the vehicle license for private. So those 3 fundamentals, then it's automated. Once those are inputted, you get your POC at no extra cost to the fees you have paid. Now, for the annual vehicle registration scheme, it's the same thing now. Okay. That's, you know, there's a lot of fake insurance papers, a lot of fake roadworthiness, fake vehicle license. So there's one, we assist the state to get their IGR improved. 1. 2, we eliminate this issue of fake licenses. Vehicle license, insurance, roadworthiness, and if it's a commercial vehicle, in addition to those 3, you have the state carriage, you have the acne permit. So it will ensure that all the papers you have at any point in time, they are genuine, they are not fake papers.
Just for clarity, for the public's sake, who is entitled to issue license? I know it's the road safety, but we hear...
No, it's not road safety that issues license.
Okay, so...
VIOs don't issue license. It is the state, the law is very clear. It is the Internal Revenue Service or the Board of Internal Revenue, or some states have legislated transferring it to an agency under the Ministry of Transport. It is not the VIOs. Abuja is a different scenario. Abuja is not a state, it's a territory. So that is why. So when you are looking at the nation, when you are having an holistic view, you can't use Abuja as a reference. You must look at the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. At the state level, it is the state's Internal Revenue Service or the Board of Internal Revenue that are statutory to issue license, to register vehicle. And all these things are to be done. This annual you are asking me is to be done by the State Board of Internal Revenue, the licensing office.
So for Abuja now?
For Abuja, it is the Department of Road Traffic Services that registers the vehicles and tests the drivers. Even the testing of drivers is being done by the vehicle inspection. It's their statutory responsibility. FRSC does not test drivers. Where FRSC comes in is that we regulate and we maintain the national database. But when you want to register your vehicle, you don't go to FRSC. You go to the state, yes or no?
Now, I'm talking about driver's license.
The same thing with driver's license. When you want to renew your license, you go to the state licensing office, or you renew online, depending on your choice.
What about for Abuja?
For Abuja, you go to the VIO. You see, VIO, part of their responsibility in this territory is the issue of vehicle registration and driver's license. No other VIO in any state is doing this. It is the peculiarity of a territory, not a state, that enables them to do that.
You have a follow-up question, Obironke?
So I want to get something clear. FRSC checks for driver's license. Do they also check for vehicle papers?
No, everything is holistic, vehicle papers. If there's an infraction, the patrol team, the arresting marshal will say, please, can I see your vehicle papers? What are the vehicle papers? Those are the things we're supposed to conclude on the AVAS.
Okay.
What are the vehicle papers? Your vehicle license, your insurance, your roadworthiness, and POC for private vehicles. For commercial, you add the state carriage and acne permit. But with this AVAS, when it's implemented, you don't need to be carrying all those ones again. It's only the POC and your driver's license.
That you move around with.
Thank you.
Okay.
So because to get that POC, all those we mentioned must have been inputted. And the genuineness will have been established. Presently, to get the POC, if you are registering a vehicle, you will observe that they will check the database of the Nigerian Insurance Association to ensure that they is genuine. Because when crash occurs, third parties are entitled to compensation. It's even much stronger at a certain level. But when you now go to insurance company, they will tell you this is a fake one, not each, which is true. So we need to address all these fake. Like that is the essence of what we discussed earlier on, using technology to improve the system. That is what Joint Tax Board has done at no additional cost.
We have a few minutes left. I don't know if you briefly addressed the issue of number plates. What is new regarding that for motorists?
Number plate is a success story. The only thing is now is that we are going to change the graphics before the end of the year.
Okay.
Ideally, the graphics on the number plate is supposed to be changed every year. But if we start changing it for a country like Nigeria, people will think they want to use it as a source of revenue. So no, the dynamics is supposed to continue to improve on it. The same thing with driver's license. With the ascension of Nigeria, or as per the UN conventions, there are some key elements in the conventions that we have not complied with. So we are bringing in those ones now to modify the driver's license. So number plates, hopefully before the end of the year, the graphics also have been improved upon. But so far so good, I think the number plate scheme is running well. And the database is becoming more robust. And all the security agencies have access to it. The only thing we need to do is to do more enforcement and ensure that some people who remove number plate from car A to car B, they are arrested, because that is also a revenue loss to the states. When you register, when you buy a vehicle, you're supposed to go to the licensing office to register the vehicle.
And not transfer.
Not transfer. Yeah. And when you sell your vehicle, let me tell you again, that number plate is supposed to be removed. Then the vehicle is supposed to go. When you do the change of ownership, Babuyo, have dashed you, not sold, or dashed if you don't care.
No, you're dashing me first.
You go to, I can dash you one, dash you one. You now go with all those documents, go to the license office and do change of ownership. Many people are not doing it. With this annual vehicle registration scheme, we compare, because what is on the database is still the name of the first user.
But how much enforcement is done regarding that? If you know people are not really following
the states are not
right
up
thing.
to date on technology. That is why we are driving this now. With this now, technology will compel people to do the needful.
So we're rounding up. I need you to speak to Nigerians. Now, the whole aim is to ensure that the number of fatalities we see on our roads reduce. People comply, and the FRSC stand up to its task of effective response when there's a road crash. What is your message to Nigerians?
You have said it. It's for me to just put a rider, an icing on the cake. Let me continue to appeal to Nigerians that in year 2022, there's need for us to comply with the road traffic rules and regulations. One. Then number two, like we've been discussing, life has no duplicate. Yeah. We need to respect the rules of the road. The highway code is very clear about the right of ways. Like Ibirongbe stated, people driving, facing oncoming traffic, that's an accident waiting to happen. We need an improved consciousness on the part of road users. And I believe if you can abide the principle of defensive driving, that the driver ahead of you and the one behind you is a potential threat to existence, I think we drive safely. And for underage children, 12 years below, they should be strapped at the back. That is one key issue, the child safety. We need to improve on the child safety. Any children or any child that is 12 years below are not supposed to sit on the front seat. They're supposed to be at the back, strapped to the seat. And also, the issue of phone while driving is prohibited. That call can wait. If it's urgent, look for a safe place, park, and make that call. A safe place, not just any place, a safe place. And with full compliance with traffic rules and regulations, I believe we can cut down the rate of crashes in the country, we can reduce the fatality, and we can achieve the set goals for the year. Thank you.
Very briefly, what's your toll-free line? Or
122. The toll-free is 122,
Okay.
and it's 24/7. And,
any part of the country?
Any part of the country on any of the GSMs. If there's any emergency, just call and be assured within a fraction of a second we've been responding, and we continue to respond.
Thank you very much, Co-Marshal Babuyo Oyayami, for your time. We'll continue to do our bit to ensure that the awareness is created while you do your own part to ensure due regulation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ibironke, thank you for your time with us. She's from the News Agency of Nigeria.
Yes, thank you.
All right, we've been looking at road safety administration and management in Nigeria. It is your responsibility, as it is mine, to ensure that we stay alive. There's no hurry, like he said. There's no hurry in life. Let's do the needful. Let's do the right thing. That's Platform. I'm Ruth Aguele. Bye.